Hello, guys. Welcome to this. I know we haven't had any conversations in a while. The last time I had a conversation with you, going live like this, we talked about the. I think we were talking about. It was a sort of a follow up to how to build your business or how to activate business growth using just about everything that you have in your business, including things that might be, that you might consider weaknesses or that might be areas of struggle for you. I know I look a little bit different from what you might be used to. I've been trying my hand at growing a beard, see how it works. Uh, Today, I want to talk about the hidden factor that helps you build your business. As a coach, as a consultant, this is the kind of lesson that doesn't really come up formally. It doesn't really come up in the project, in the consulting engagement, in a coaching engagement, not overtly. But I think that it is really at the core. If you study, the last 6 months to 12 months, I took some time to intentionally study some of our modern day moguls, some of the people who have built 0 to 7 figures, 0 to 8 figures, 0 to 9 figure businesses. Frankly, if I'm not mistaken, 0 to 10 figure businesses. Really successful people who are, some of them like Tyler Perry are not just a billionaire entrepreneur, but a celebrity in his own right, well known for his creativity, well known for the brands that he's created, for his royalty and licensing revenue generating properties that he's built, basically from his brain. Thought about these things, created it, wrote them up, sold them to television networks, sold them to Hollywood, and then has turned around. Now, the interesting thing about someone like Tyler Perry is he was grossing $100 million before anybody in Hollywood ever heard of him. And so you should take lessons that are unusual from unusual places. And if you can help it, bring it into your business. Now, I want to talk about business and strategy and success in business from the lens of self transformation. If you're like me and your business, you're in business and your business is grossing under $1 million, um, basically you're a small business, you are probably the single most important aspect of your business. Doesn't matter whether you're a service business, doesn't matter whether you're an e-commerce business, doesn't matter whether you're selling physical products, your retail, distribution, wholesale, whatever you want to, whatever business model you execute in making your money, you as the leader, you as the CEO, as the founder of your business, you have the most responsibility in whether your business is successful or not. Generally, your business is going to reflect your struggles with growth. Your business is going to reflect your strengths. Your business is going to reflect your skills. Your business is going to reflect the areas where you have refused to let go. Either you've become the bottleneck to the business, you insist on doing everything yourself, or you have not broken out of your comfort zone in a particular area. So you are not going to often hear it, but self transformation is a crucial part of success in your small business. And whether you and your business are going to transform repeatedly in the ways that it takes to get to the top. What is the top? I'm not going to define what the top is for you. For one person, it might be a $10 million business a year that's throwing off 20 to 30% profits, that gives you a very comfortable take home income and a transformed lifestyle. For another person, it might be that, hey, we have a business that feeds my employees, feeds me, allows me to put something away for retirement, and then gives me some autonomy in my personal life, allows me some latitude in my daily schedule, in my life, and how to spend my time. So everybody is different. The main thing that I want to share is, if you have big goals and big ambitions, and you want to execute these goals through business, you have to pay attention to your inner game. Every day in business is going to come with surprises. Some of those surprises are going to be serendipitous surprises, which means that they are opportunities. And if you were prepared when opportunity showed up, you'll be much more likely to recognize them. You'll be much more likely to see them and see them as what they are. Some opportunities show up as recurring problems. They might even show up and look like crisis, but they're actually opportunities to the prepared mind and to the prepared business, to the prepared system. On the other hand, some are just, some surprises are so difficult to deal with, they threaten to just knock you off. They threaten to stop your momentum, to crush you. And that's when your self transformation journey is most important. That's probably when all the work that you've done mentally, being around the right supports, being around entrepreneurs who are also facing your same journey, people that you can talk to, people that you can reach out to, because most of the 99% of the people you're dealing with are just not going to be able to relate to what you're doing. They're not going to understand your challenges. They might even be looking at you like, oh, what do you have to complain about? You're successful. You're running your own company. You get to do things during the weekdays when everybody else has to be, locked down at work. But so they might not understand the real challenges that you're going through and may not be able to empathize. You have to do the mental work that allows you to pull out, allows you to be able to bounce back from nasty little surprises that have that really drain your energy. You need to be able to lead others. You need to be able to inspire others who are maybe working for you, partners, suppliers, subcontractors, staff. And all of that is really dependent on you. Are you going to be able to maintain your drive when things are not going in the direction that you've invested yourself, you've invested his blood, sweat, and tears, your expectations into? So interestingly, right? I'm a basketball fan, and yes, my real team is the Washington Wizards, because I'm loyal. I'm loyal to my community, and I've been a Wizards fan since they were the Bullets, and I'm gonna be a Wizards fan because whatever. You know what? I'm a Wizards fan. But it doesn't stop me from having other teams. When your team has been very bad for very long, you got to be a fan of other teams. And the Golden State Warriors are a group that I've been a fan of when they were coming up. They were little young upstarts, 2014, 2015, trying to make their way up. And I've been watching them and watching their resurgence this season. I've been paying close attention as a fan to Klay Thompson. Recently, he had a little episode where he was just sitting down after the game, sitting down there for like 30 minutes, just on the bench, not talking to anybody, head down, just thinking through. And a lot of people asking a lot of questions. Is Klay all right? What's going on? Is he, what's his situation? Because the last we had heard, he's very, very close to coming back. He's been making great progress. The entire basketball world is really waiting, because if you're a basketball fan, if you're a hoops fan, you want to see Klay. You want to see him at his best, and you're rooting for him. Well, he's sitting there, and the way his teammates translated it later is just that he's so close now. He's been on this long journey, recuperating, rehabbing from serious major injury, and he can taste it. And he's so close to what his goal has been this entire time. And he's starting to struggle with the weight. What's interesting about this is, so today they announced he's now on a two-way contract. They're gonna send him down to the G League, where he's gonna be able to practice with those guys and start playing day to day, and in preparation for his comeback. And this had me thinking about not just about Klay. I'm excited because that's one more step for this brother, but a second thing about the secret. the secret ingredient for these people that I've been studying for most of these asymmetrical successes, people who start from ordinary, regular, almost mediocre, and they make a vertical leap. It might take them 10 years, it might take them 3, 5, 20 years, but they go from like the bottom to the top of the mountain. And invariably looking at all of these successes, whether it's in entrepreneurship, in business, in basketball, in comedy, in any of the creative arts, authorship, anything, the crucial ingredient to their rise is patience. And it's not patience as in, oh, I'm being patient, and you're not really driving, you're not charging hard towards very big goals. No, patience while persevering, patience while really going through some pain, patience while really executing on projects. Look, is don't tell me you're being patient when you're just not doing anything, right? Don't tell me you're being patient when you don't. Like, what goals are you trying to take down? What project deadlines are you attempting, whether you're succeeding at the projects or failing? If you can show me patience with insane massive action, then you're already activating the principles that are going to result in a compounding success. About 20 years ago, a Stanford professor, top consultant by the name of Jim Collins, wrote a book that took the business world by storm. It was called Good to Great. And in Good to Great, he shared a lot of game-changing frameworks for strategic business owners and leaders. But one of the most underestimated, one of the greatest frameworks he shared, a guy named Jeff Bezos operationalized it, used it, turned it on around, redesigned his entire business around that framework, and became pretty much the most successful and most dominant company in the world. That framework is called the flywheel. And the flywheel, the flywheel is a metaphor for what happens when you trigger a set of actions and you trigger a set of principles that are self-reinforcing, and where you can create a self-feeding positive loop, or what Jeff Bezos actually refers to these as a virtuous spiral. You can activate these positive flywheels in just about anything. You can activate them in learning. You can activate them in data with a data-driven business where you use superior access to data to create superior products, and then you use if those products are data sensitive products, if those products have sensors within them where you can collect data by creating a product, then now you have even more data, so you can create a reinforcing loop that just blows out the competition. That's what companies like Amazon and a lot of data rich global companies have been doing. But there's also data loops in knowledge, learning. There's also data loops in visibility, getting attention. There's all kinds, sorry, not data loops, but flywheels, like self-reinforcing loops. There's self-reinforcing positive loops in many different areas of your business, in many different areas of your business. So if you can activate that, the only way though to activate most flywheel mechanisms, most flywheel effects in your life, in your wealth, in your business, is by exercising skill with strategy and patience. Patience means showing up day after day, month after month, quarter after quarter, for long enough for the compounding effect to be triggered. I was watching the YouTuber, one of my favorite YouTubers and influencers out there is a guy named Miles Beckler. And he was profiling one of his audience members, I think, who was also his student, took a couple of his courses. But this guy started out on YouTube because he was in the mortgage niche, and started out his channel. And he talked about how long his YouTube channel was flat. It was flat. I think it was over like 12 months or it was just flat. And then, but when the flywheel started to take place, he got picked up by the algorithms. The algorithms brought in the first bunch of audience, and then they saw that they liked it, and then fed the algorithm brought in some more, and within a short time he went from literally just a few hundred subscribers to over 70,000 or so. There are flywheel effects, not just with algorithms, not just with data, not just on YouTube. There's flywheel effects of trust. When you have clients or customers who trust you, and then they send people to you, and then those people trust you because you're delivering in the way that you advertised, in the way that other people told them you would, and then they send more people. That's a self-reinforcing loop. There's a flywheel effect of compounding gain. So I hope that I've kind of explained a little bit about this, that you want to trigger, by being patient enough, a compounding effect that's just going to build and build. To do that, yes, you have to go on a self-transformation journey. Nobody who wants to be popular is going to tell you that. Nobody who wants to stay popular is going to tell you that the work that you have to do is find a way to be productively patient. Not just patient, but productively patient. So that means that if you're in business, you need to be sitting down within your review cycles, whether that's once a month, once a week, once a quarter, thinking about what are the strategic projects that you must take down in this quarter, that you must take down in whatever period it is, and figure out what the 80/20s are of taking down that project successfully. Turn that into an algorithmic system, whether that's a schedule. You got to have something that you're doing all the time. You don't wait until things become urgent and then you start attending to them. You do, because if you do that, you're gonna spend all your time putting out fires, and you're just gonna get burned out. Somewhere in your struggle as an entrepreneur, somewhere is in your struggle as a creator, you have to set off a period where while you're still struggling, you create a situation for yourself where you're still building for tomorrow. You can't ignore today, right? If you ignore today, you starve. It's kind of like somebody who's starting out as a new sales. When I was training salespeople and sales professionals, it's the same idea. If you start out today as a sales professional, what will you need to do? If your company has given you no leads, if they're giving you leads, and the leads, you ask the other salespeople on the job and the leads are terrible and nobody's closing on them, then you got to sit down and spend the first day thinking about, what are we selling? Who's our competition? Who are we selling to? What's different about what we're selling? Why would somebody want to buy this? Why is this a good price to buy this? Or what else can I add to this? How can I angle this or position this so that it's a good deal to buy it at the price that we're given? And if you're a salesperson, you've been given a product, you've been given a price, and probably you've been given a quota and a deadline. So you got to perform. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to figure out, who do I prospect to? Who do I start reaching out to directly so that I can eat when next week comes? But if you spend your entire time as a sales professional in your first 30 days, all you're doing is prospecting for what you eat now, and you don't devote any time, I don't care whether it's during your active hours or after work or whatever, if you don't spend any time setting up something that's going to feed you later, even if it's 5% of the time you have, even if it's 10% or 20% of the time you have, if you don't set up any time creating a pipeline that you can be trying to close 3 weeks from now, when 3 weeks from now comes, you're going to be stuck and out of luck. So it's still so while you're building today, you have got to be setting up a part of your productivity system that's going to be built and centered on your ability to be patient. And if you're listening to this and you're like, hey, go, man, look, I do not have patience, and I don't know how to find patience. I don't even know how to find the path to patience. The one thing I can say is, know that you're not going to get a really big reward. A really big ambitious goal will not be achieved by you. You will not achieve any really worth it type of result if you don't have patience. Because Just about all the biggest goals in the world require patience because they require time. They require time for you to know what works and what doesn't work. They require time for you to be able to learn from the previous lessons or even the previous failures and start stacking your failures into success, right? Because a learning loop develops. Every time that you want to go from 0 to 100, you got to check that instant. Create a small group that you can go on the journey with. Hire a coach or get a long distance mentor, somebody who really embodies the success you're trying to have, or who communicates in a way that really inspires you and whose acumen really helps you to get where you're going. And then start following anything that's low cost that they're doing. If you can afford to hire them in some capacity, or learn from them in some capacity that requires money, then follow everything that they're doing that is easily accessible to you via Google, via YouTube, via Amazon, and then operationalize the things you learn. Put it into some kind of process, put it into some kind of project, put it into some kind of product, some kind of platform. Don't just leave it as, oh, I learned this. Wow, this was a very valuable lesson. Force it into something in the real world that you have got to see a result from, whether it's a result in income, a result in clients, a result in business, or it's a result in learning. The good news about when you force knowledge into projects is that projects have three distinct features. They have a definition, they have a goal, and they have a deadline. And so projects force you to get a result. You are always going to get a result from projects. Whether the result is the money you want, the notoriety, the visibility, whatever the strategic goal of that project is, or the project is going to deliver you learning because you failed in meeting the stated goal, the specific goal outcome of your project. Either way, you can't lose because you're going to get learning. And if you have the right spirit and the right patience, you're going to take that learning and you're going to compound it. Um, um, there's this book by Scott Adams. Scott Adams is a very successful artist and cartoonist. He is the creator of the Dilbert series. And Scott Adams has this concept. Just read the books by Scott Adams, and I'm not talking about the non-Dilbert. I'm talking about the non-Dilbert books. You can read the Dilbert books if you want, but I'm talking about you reading the books that he's written for people like you. So just Google him on Amazon, and one of his most important concepts is to fail your way to success. And what that means, it doesn't mean you're going out there looking for failure. It means that you're trying your best. It means that you're trying. And if you try and you succeed, then learn from the success. But if you try and you experience a setback, what a lot of people call failure, if you learn from it and you stack that learning in the direction of your ultimate goal, there is no such thing as failure. So I hope that this brings an understanding to you. So one, have that big goal. Two, gratitude. If you want to learn patience, one, have a big goal, understanding that no big goal can be achieved without patience. Two, gratitude. Gratitude is a very strange and powerful emotion and attribute. Gratitude is the one attribute that you can have in your life that allows you as an entrepreneur, as a creator, as a leader, or aspiring to reconcile the existential conflict, the trade-off between hunger and contentment. To be a really super successful entrepreneur, you got to have some hunger. Some people call it ambition. You got to have aspirations. You got to have some kind of drive fueled by hunger. And you got to be hungry for success, even after you've already achieved success. In terms of sports, you can look at it from Giannis. Giannis just won the championship, and he says, "Hey, my father said, always be hungry, but never be greedy." That's hunger while being, satisfied. Um, a lot of these entrepreneurs, when you wonder about these people who built in one lifetime multi-billion-dollar businesses, one of the reasons why they were able to do that is because they were not satisfied with just getting to the $10 million business, not just getting to the $100 million business, or just influencing and impacting 100 lives, 1,000 lives, a million lives. They kept experiencing success without experiencing the hidden downside of success, which is that the hunger and drive and ambition gets extinguished. How can that happen? On the other hand, if you're all hunger, you are going to become a shell of a human being. The inability to actually to actually enjoy your satisfaction means that when you're all hunger and you're all ambition without contentment, ambition without serenity, then what you're going to have is a success that makes you deeply and profoundly unhappy. And believe me, for most people, when that unhappiness kicks in, usually what that's going to be followed by is some kind of self-sabotage that brings down your effort or brings down your business. But for the few people who are able to maintain that drive, even with that level of unhappiness, what happens next is that it builds on it, it builds on it. They keep getting to higher and higher levels of success until they can stand the unhappiness no longer. And then they do something really horrible to themselves or to their lives. So the key to reconcile those two seemingly irreconcilable attributes of simultaneously hungry and simultaneously satisfied or serene or content is deep gratitude, a deep practice of gratitude, remembering how good you have it. Or if you want to practice some of the skills of the Stoics, you can remember just how bad it could be. Because no matter how bad you think your situation is, there are 1,000 ways that it could get worse. If you're dying, you could die today instead of a month from now. If something's going wrong, 10 things could be going wrong. So you have to really pay attention to all the good things that are happening. The fact that you have enough going for you that you're able to see this video, watch this, and pay attention means that you have a lot going for you, economically speaking, in terms of your mental health and comprehension, and perhaps even your socioeconomic standing relative to the vast majority of the world. A vast majority of the 8 billion people right now in the world are probably not as affluent as you or have as much access to technology and tools as you do for you to be listening to me right now. So there's always an advantage. And if you begin to see that, there's a hidden power that you can unlock by being able to see your advantages. The first of them is being able to have this, I refer to it as an opposable character, kind of jumping off from what the author of Opposable Mind meant for creativity. I mean this for success. I mean this for personal transformation, is to have an opposable character where you can be simultaneously hungry and satisfied at the same time, in the same body, in the same life. All right. Now, beyond that, though, there's also the issue of remembering, not just having aspirations, not just having deep gratitude or being what I refer to as asset aware, but also remembering that any gain, anything gotten too quickly tends not to stay. If you build a fortune and it happens too fast, so fast that you were not able to build the muscles to understand how you got that fortune, then you often don't know how to preserve it. So a lot of people can get a lot of good income. I used to be a house flipper. I used to coach real estate investors, creative real estate investors. And there are certain transactional worlds in the economy where it's actually easy to make big money fairly quickly. But if you don't build the tools, you're going to lose that money. You're going to waste it, or you're not going to know how to take that money that you've gotten and turn it into an income flywheel, a positive flywheel of future self-reinforcing income growth. You're not going to know how to allocate or invest your money, either in your business or in investments that compound and pay off. So my point to you is, learn those principles. This will help you, and then practice patience. How do you practice patience? One of my recommendations is that you take a daily or weekly practice of studying individuals who have been patient. individuals who have built something amazing from taking the long road. When you study enough of these unusual stratospheric successes, what you're going to find out is that the long road is the shortcut. That counterintuitively, the people who decide, yes, I'm going to dedicate 3 years to 7 years to this, they are the ones who end up being these asymmetrical successes, um, gaining, building successes that take other people 25, 30 years or never to achieve. And they end up achieving them in 3 years, 7 years, 10 years. So expand your temporal horizon, expand your time frame of when you expect success, because that's going to terraform your mind. That's going to transform your mind to start to see that it's worth it to pay attention, not to the outcome of each individual project or of each individual daily practice that you're doing, but of the overall approach and journey that you're taking. And that will give you the patience to just focus on the process, focus on the process, focus on the minute benefits and gains of what you're doing in the day to day. Work on the very small things while having very large goals. And when you do that, you're going to activate the flywheel effect in your business and in your life. Surround yourself with the right people who are also committed to playing long-term games. Play long-term games with long-term people. That's the words of Naval Ravikant, a highly successful investor and thought leader in the tech world and in the tech entrepreneurship world. All right. So I hope that this has been useful for you. Watch this. Pay attention to the secret. It's the secret of Warren Buffett. It's the secret of Tyler Perry. It's the secret of Mark Zuckerberg. And it's the secret of Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the NBA MVP, LeBron James, and many others. It's the secret of Scott Adams. It's the secret of all the great comedians you know who are ultra rich, from Jay Leno to Seinfeld and all of them. How many thousands of hours were spent writing jokes? How many thousands and thousands of hours were spent in out of the way comedy clubs and bars, perfecting those jokes, perfecting delivery, perfecting showmanship? Steve Harvey. Go back and look at their stories. So I hope that this has been encouraging to you. Tell me the number one takeaway you got from this session. I'm going to end this now, but we're going to be going more into kicking off personal and entrepreneurial initiatives that can change your life. Centering patience, centering projects in your plans for 2022. Don't wait for 2022 to have 2022 success. Start now. In December, we're going to be talking about how you can learn from the people who are all around you, how you can distill the signal of stratospheric success from the noise of endless content and endless influencers. I'm going to show you how to find the people that you can watch from a distance, how to distill their successes into principles, into practices, into projects, so that you can basically piggyback on their success, even if they will never know your name, and execute for your own benefit, for the benefit of your business. I hope this has been helpful. Look out for that, because I'm going to give you special access to that program, and where to sign up and how to sign up. Excuse me. All right. So I look forward to talking to you soon. Again, this is Coach Gogo. If you're interested in coaching, consulting related to thought leadership marketing for your expert business or for your service business, you can contact us at ideahaconsulting.com. But if you're just enjoying this content, you go ahead and subscribe, because I'm going to keep sharing things like this as we go along. All right. I look forward to talking to you soon.